Hello my good buddies, welcome to today's video. I wanted to just make a really quick video about my top 5 acne products, and these are the products that I have been using, for some of these literally years, others months and months through my acne treatment process. They are tried and true, and just talk a little bit about why I consider these so effective and why I like them so much and continue to go back. A couple really quick notes. Obviously, acne has many different causes. For me, it was specifically hormonal acne. I'll put up some photos. I love to show you guys pictures of what my face looked like. It's so good. Also, I just went to the dentist and half my face is numb, and I don't know if that's gonna come across or not, but this is all numb right now. So yeah, my smile's a little bit weird. It's good. It's fine. My acne was very much hormonal. It was brought on by a birth control that I went on, and then that just kind of spiraled. If you have acne for different reasons, these are pretty much still going to be relevant to you, and I'm going to, as I talk about each one, explain its role a little bit in different types of acne as best I can. I also want to say that if you've been doing a lot of things for your acne and you're still struggling and you haven't been to a dermatologist, go to a dermatologist. And I understand the role that privilege plays in that, because if you live in the United States, you don't necessarily have access to healthcare, and that's incredibly frustrating. But something that I didn't realize for a long time, and I really wish I would have realized sooner, is that acne issues are covered by most insurance companies because it's a disease. It's actually a disease. You're not just being vain, it's a disease, and you can get medical treatment for it. So I do recommend, if you're having stubborn issues and you're unhappy, at least go talk, because I wish I would have gotten treatment sooner. I could have spared myself a lot of acne scarring that I got just in the last year that I'm 30. So I tried all of the products, pretty much, yes, all of the products today I used off and on for years, and they treated acne when I had it more mildly. Nothing worked for this most recent bout that was brought on by a hormone issue, except going to a dermatologist and being on a prescription for spironolactone and doxycycline. So if you have a deeper issue that needs medical treatment, I am of the opinion that things like this will be important tools in your kit, but until you fix your underlying issue, they're not necessarily going to fix everything. So once you have the underlying issue addressed, these types of things will work. First up, a benzoyl peroxide wash. I used to really advocate for a gentle cleanser and a leave-on benzoyl peroxide treatment. I still think that works, but I prefer now a benzoyl peroxide wash because I do have really sensitive skin. I have increased my skin's ability to take shit because I've had to do so much to it in the last couple years. So I used to react to anything that wasn't a gentle wash, and then I would just do a leave-on treatment. I don't like doing a leave-on treatment as much as a benzoyl peroxide wash now for two reasons. One, it's really nice to not stain and bleach all of my pajamas. Leaving on a benzoyl peroxide treatment, it bleaches all your shirts and your bedding, and that is really annoying and inconvenient. So washing it and then washing it off and not having to worry about that is honestly a huge plus. And then the other one is that the acne that I dealt with this past year and a half was so deep and cystic and painful that I got the feeling that my leave-on treatments, they couldn't get in there. And I was using exfoliants and all the things were being done. But I have found that a wash, the manual aspect of washing with a good benzoyl peroxide wash is helpful to the effect. You do need to wash your face for 60 seconds. To me, it's worth it in that I found that my inflammation went down more and I wasn't staining all my stuff, which is nice, but also just it did seem to get in there better because I was able to massage it in for 30 seconds. And that seemed to really be enough time to kill the bacteria and for the benzoyl peroxide to fulfill its role. So no matter what type of acne you have, benzoyl peroxide is one of the real workhorses of acne treatment, and it kills the acne bacteria. I have a specific recommendation, by the way, for everything that I'm going to talk about. So I now use this extremely glamorous benzoyl peroxide wash, and I use it because it's prescribed by my dermatologist. It's pretty much identical, however, to the Differin Benzoyl Peroxide wash. I don't love Differin's whole line of products. However, the Differin Benzoyl Peroxide wash is great, and it's what I was using before I got prescribed this. The only reason I use this now is because it's cheaper, because it's covered mostly by my insurance. But the Differin Benzoyl Peroxide wash is not expensive. I think it's like $10 or $12 for a bottle. It's 5% rather than 10%, which I actually think is fine. The only reason I have 10% right now is because towards the end of my acne treatment, I had some really stubborn bits around my jawline, so we bumped up from 5%, but I will likely switch back to a 5% because studies have shown that there's not a significant difference between the benefits of 5% benzoyl peroxide versus 10%, but the irritation can be more with 10%. However, like I said, I've had such consistent treatment over the last year and a half that I don't get any irritation from the 10%, but it did help to just like give the edge for that little bit of stubborn jawline acne towards the end. I guess I should have done this first because I was kind of going in order of when it touches your face, but that's okay. The IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Makeup Cleansing Balm. I hate this product. Mostly love it deeply and probably will never leave. I probably have more empties of this than any other skincare or makeup item I've ever used, because it's now been at least 3 years that I've been using this, and I've tried so many different balms in that time, and I always go back to this one. Like, I never make it through more than like a sample size or a small one of a different one, or just like trying it for a couple weeks. I know I just said my skin has toughened up. What I mean by that is my skin has toughened up specifically to certain treatments like benzoyl peroxide and retinoids. It is still very sensitive to fragrances and different ingredients in skincare, so I have to be really careful. And any of the other balms that I've used either don't remove my makeup as well, or they just sting and irritate my face a little bit. This, I actually want to say it does have a slight amount of fragrance, which is nuts. Well, yeah, of course it does. I'm like, I use it every single night, and I'm like, what do you smell like? It has a slight citrusy smell, and so that's surprising, but it's such a gentle formula despite that, and they must just have the tiniest amount. And it is light. It's a light fragrance. It's not significant. It removes waterproof mascara, everything. It works so well to do that initial step of getting, even when I don't wear makeup, wearing a mask, I'm sweaty, I live in New York City, the air is gross here. It's important to cleanse first, just to like break everything down, rinse that off, and then go in with a wash like the benzoyl peroxide wash. And I've never found something that works better than this. It gives me zero irritation, and I've gotten several people obsessed with it. Next up, moisture. I do have dry skin, and I do have very easily irritated skin. I am going to probably get married to and make babies with this moisturizer. Cerave Daily Moisturizing Lotion for normal to dry skin, should I just read the whole label, is excellent. Lightweight. It says 3 essential ceramides and hyaluronic acid. Also, I was like, should I just read the whole thing? Ha, joke. And then I just did read the whole thing. Doesn't irritate my skin at all. It is really lightweight, so it's nice for when you have to mix different things on your face, like exfoliants and retinoids, and we'll get into that, because it's not greasy or heavy. But with all the treatment that I've gone through, the benzoyl peroxide, the Differin, the everything, I have not had any significant stage of flakiness, which is crazy because my skin likes to be flaky just like of its own accord. Like, I have very dry, easily lending to the flake skin. So the fact that this feels so light and absorbs so quickly, so it doesn't get like slippy slidey when you're putting on different things, but I haven't had dry skin, it's pretty incredible. And for a long time I was using it morning and night. The only thing missing from this list, by the way, is going to be a good sunscreen. Oh my god, I'm missing a good sunscreen because they discontinued the one that I've been using for like 5 years that's perfect and amazing, and I'm furious about it, but it's fine. So I have not yet found a perfect sunscreen that's not irritating for acne prone skin to put in this list. Anyway, cannot say enough good things. These are big containers. I get the, like 12, or I think there's even a 16 ounce one maybe. And I've gone through quite a few, and no regrets. And now I'm holding 3 things, but really this is 2 of the items, like them putting these together, even though they're slightly different, and then this, but they all have to do with each other, so I'm going to kind of talk about them at the same time. When I first started trying to treat my acne, and I didn't go to a dermatologist yet, I went eventually, after a lot of struggling with doing the things that I normally do, which, if you don't know my background, I'm a makeup artist for the film and television industries, although now I mostly just run my company. Besides the point, I know a lot about skincare just for like tending to actors' skin, so I'm not an esthetician, but I do understand the basics pretty solidly. So I've never had acne develop the way that this did in the last couple of years, and so I was doing all of the things that have normally worked really well for me or clients of mine whose skin I'm looking after for months at a time, and that was really frustrating. So eventually I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do Differin, because it's a now available, it's a retinoid that is now available over the counter, so you don't need a prescription. And I was scared of it because it's like, oh, it's supposed to get worse before it gets better. I didn't want to go through all that, but I was like, I'm at my wit's end, nothing is improving, I need to just go for it. This made everything worse and didn't help at all, and it never helped, and I followed all of the rules of how you're supposed to use it, and I used it for like 6 months, and it was just a horrible shitstorm. I didn't get incredible irritation because I was using these other things and that system was working well for me, but my acne was just getting worse and worse. And the reason why I'm including it in this list now is because I am now on its big brother, which is the prescription similar version. Tretinoin is a slightly different type of retinoid, technically, although they are similar enough that I feel comfortable doing this right now. I am now on Tretinoin. Differin, by the way, is called Adapalene, so they're a very similar retinoid, to just like put it quickly. And I've had great results with Tretinoin now, and the reason for that is that my skin issues, my acne issues, were not rooted in a cell turnover breakdown. A lot of people have acne because there's an issue in their body's ability to turn over its cells in an efficient way. For people who have acne for that reason, and that can be like all over the face, or any area, then Adapalene, Differin, or Tretinoin can be extremely effective. The oral version of that is Accutane. So if you've heard of people going on Accutane, this is the not as intense, because it's just topical, it's not oral, version of that. It's so effective if that's what's causing your acne. If you have hormonal acne, this is not addressing the actual problem. So you just kind of stay spinning in a really shitty situation. Now that my root problem is solved, this is a really helpful thing to have, and I'm including this because it is the over-the-counter version. So if you don't have access to a prescription, then using this for your acne might be really effective. In my case, implementing this in my routine now, I started out every other night. I still mostly use it every other night, but I could probably change the frequency now. It just makes the texture of my skin really nice. It aids in cell turnover. So sometimes people think of it as an exfoliant. It's not technically an exfoliant, but it might have exfoliating properties for your skin because it helps things move more smoothly. It also helps with regeneration and anti-aging. So it's just good to be incorporating a retinoid into your system. And so this now, it also helped with the stubbornness at the end. Like the real issue was solved with the spironolactone, which was the hormone imbalance. And then this really did help with that, like getting out those last stubborn bits, because it was able to kind of do its job. Like the Differin, I hated it so much, but realistically it wasn't able to do its job because other stuff was just too in the way. So now I appreciate this as part of my routine, and I actually mix it. I do a little pea-size amount and a pea-size amount of this, and I mix them together in my palm, and I go just avoiding the eye area, massaging it all into the face. This is the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid. I've been talking about this on my channel for literally years. I've been using it, oh, maybe I have the most empties of this actually. I don't know. It's close between this because I go through this more slowly, but I've been using it for several years longer. So I don't know, these are pretty neck and neck. When I first had kind of like mild, moderate acne, this was a real game changer for me. Benzoyl peroxide used to irritate my skin before I like built up a tolerance to it, which you may need to do. But this was just glorious, especially because I have dry, flaky skin. It's a BHA, so it's an oil-soluble exfoliant, so it'll get down into the pores and clear them out, but it's still an exfoliant. So AHAs are water-soluble exfoliants. They will get rid of flakiness and texture, and they're great to incorporate in different types of routines. But if you're acne-prone and flaky, this really changed the game for me, using it every night, and it helped to clean out my pores, and it fixed anything that was acne that wasn't like pretty serious. I'm not currently using this because right now my insurance is still covering 40% salicylic acid peels every couple of weeks. I believe I just finished my last one that insurance is covering. I still I have a little more on my like shoulders and chest and back that was like still getting treated with that peel. They were doing my face as well. So I haven't been using this because I didn't want to risk over exfoliation, and it was unnecessary. So every couple weeks I'm getting 40%. I don't need to like be doubling down with also a nightly 2% treatment. If I stop getting those regular peels, then I will probably start to incorporate this back in at some point. There's a lot of controversy and different opinions about mixing BHAs or AHAs with a retinoid in your routine. Do your own research, I guess, with something where there's a lot of conflicting opinion. The opinion that I have landed on is that they can work together in a routine, but the key with acne treatment is like patience and gradually introducing things and like staying underneath the threshold of like too much. I am taking my sweet fucking time, and I also don't feel like the need for more unclogging because I'm getting those regular peels. But over time, I will start to introduce this again for sure. And the reason that people sometimes think they don't work together is there's an issue with pH and like conflicting pH, so making the retinoid less effective or being overly irritating. But it seems, my opinion for me is that if you put this on, you can either alternate nights, or you can put this on in the morning and then this in the evening if you really are feeling a certain way about it, or you can just put this on first. And I actually think it is fine, and that's probably what I will attempt to do, but I'll just do it gradually. And this is just so helpful for the general treatment of acne in your skin over time. I've also used a lot of different liquid and chemical exfoliants that you leave on, and I always come back to this one. Non-irritating, the texture's nice, absorbs easily. It's like, there's just nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, other than that some people's skin is just different, and occasionally somebody's skin doesn't like this one as much as other ones. But I think it is pretty universal, and I know a lot of people have great results with it. So in summary, I think if you are having stubborn acne and things like this are not effective, find whatever way that you can to see a dermatologist. And you also might need to shop around for different dermatologists, because like every doctor does not necessarily like hear you or see your concerns. So sometimes I've read a lot of things online about dermatologists just being like, here you go, like take this tube, and then like no instruction or anything, and it just gets worse. But there are really good ones out there. I love my dermatologist, and she was really helpful and like gave me information on how to use things. And then once your main issues are resolved, and also it was really helpful to speak to her initially, because I told her what I'd been doing and I was doing everything correctly, and she just was like, yeah, like nothing topical is going to fix this. And it was just true, you know? And so once you break through whatever thing is happening for you, these things are so effective, and there's so much out there. And I just feel like fragrancy things, like heavily fragranced stuff, just like push it to the side. Things that aren't at the right pH, put those to the side. I don't think things need to be incredibly expensive. Oh, I said this is a love-hate. I never said the hate reason. It's just expensive for what it is. It's like $32 or $35 for a tub, and I go through them like pretty regularly. So it's annoying to me because I know how simple the formula is and how inexpensive the ingredients are, and it's like such a massive markup. But at the same time, I'm like, I keep buying it because it works the best, and it has the least amount of irritation. It has no irritation for me. So anyway, that's like the most pricey item that I have, but it's It Cosmetics. It's not like a super luxury brand. It's 30 bucks. These things are all effective. They fill the role that they need. I also don't think you need anything outside of these other than a good sunscreen, obviously, but everyone should be using a good sunscreen in the morning as it is. I'm currently using the Josie Marin one, and I do like that one. I just don't like it. I don't love it as much as I loved the Kiss My Face Face Factor SPF 30 that is discontinued. It's a little heavier than I want it to be, so I'm on the hunt for like my perfect one. But when it comes to acne, the long game, you're playing the long game. Introduce things slowly, figure out your root cause, know that it's gonna be okay, even though it's so the worst, and people just don't understand how the worst it is. And I mean, it's devastating. And keep it simple. You don't need things beyond an exfoliant, a retinoid, a makeup remover, a cleanser, a BP product, benzoyl peroxide product, and a good gentle moisturizer that keeps you hydrated. Like, you don't need to complicate it. You don't need to spend a ton of money. I also meant to mention, I didn't wear any foundation or concealer on any of the parts of my face where I had acne. I have a little bit of bronzer on and under eye concealer, but I wanted you guys to be able to see like the status of my skin from these. I know also camera doesn't pick up everything, but like the texture is really nice, especially since introducing the Tretinoin. It feels really smooth and like supple, and other than the fact that I have noticeable scarring on both sides of my face, it's great. And it's been clear for months now, and it's not irritated, and this routine is simple and manageable. I'm still on spironolactone. I will be on spironolactone to keep my hormones balanced for a while. I am going to start laser treatment for the scars, and I will keep you guys informed on how that goes. I'm going to try to make some videos throughout the process, because I know that there's not a lot of information showing that like really detailed. So that's it. I hope you guys found this helpful, and I hope you know how much I feel for you. If you looked up this video and you're watching it now, I feel for you, and I'm so sorry, and it just sucks, and it gets better, I promise. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like it and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you want to see more of this type of content about this topic, I now have a lot of experience in it that I wish I never had, but at the same time, I'm happy to share what I've learned and like I said, you know, cover the treatment processes after the fact. So subscribe if you want to see any of that, and I hope you enjoyed my most normal influencer video ever. I feel like I crushed it. All right, I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.